Oh, hello there. Hi, you must be my 1 o'clock for the job interview. Very nice to meet you. Please have a seat. All right, let's see now. I have your resume right here. So let's see. You're 25 years old and you... Wait a second. Wait, you're 25 years old and you don't have 25 years of experience? How do you explain this gap in your resume? I was 1 year old. What kind of excuse is that? If you're born, you're old enough to work. Here's basically how it is, isn't it? Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lasses. Welcome to the click. You smell absolutely astounding today. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. These glasses are not actually made for me. I can barely even see the camera. So I hope I looked in generally the right direction. So have you ever been to a job interview that is completely unhinged, or they have these kind of expectations where it's like, oh, you need 10 years of experience in this programming language that has only existed for 2 years. You know, stuff like that. You see it all the time. And that is why I figured we would all sit down here together in this muddy little pile of frustrating job interviews and go through r/recruiting hell. Because I think if we laugh about this together, maybe we'll feel a bit less insane. Enjoy. Mwah. r/recruiting hell. Company wanted me to bring Starbucks to the interview. Tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Hi, Simon. Unfortunately, I have decided to pursue other opportunities that don't require a pit stop at Starbucks on the way to the interview. Best of luck finding a candidate with the right blend of skills and coffee running enthusiasm. You should have told me that you weren't going to come for the job interview. You put me in a very bad position with the owner of the company. This was very unprofessional. He just texted me this message. Hi, Simon. Unfortunately, I've decided to pursue other opportunities. Best of luck. Oh, you sent it to the wrong person. So you're not only asking potential candidates to do like coffee runs for your boss, which is weird. You also sent text to the wrong people. Ooh, I felt that in my spine. I replied in a different comment, but I can copy here too. I have gotten a reply from the owner. I am sorry to hear your encounter with Simon turned you off from the position with our company. I understand how important first impressions are. I typically screen the candidates myself as I am from a sales management background. I have no visibility without either being there or receiving direct feedback from interested candidates as yourself. Thank you for taking your time sharing this important feedback. I will make sure this does not continue and wish you all the best in finding the right opportunity. Class response from the boss. I also like the interviewer who's like, you made me look bad for my boss because I promised him a coffee, and then just secretly making candidates run through hoops and run errands before they're even working. It's like, oh my god, I wonder why they don't want to work here. Blows my mind. I wonder if this recruiter has just scrolled one too many of those really toxic LinkedIn posts where it's like, you have to test the new potential employee if they can follow orders and get in line, and then just toss them through all these kind of weird hoops without any kind of dignity or whatever, and see whoever like puts up with it. I'm kind of leaning towards that's what probably happened here. Strategic account manager, kitchen something. Formal education. Generally, if relevant experience is acceptable, the candidate must have 3 years of work experience for every 1 year of college education required. What kind of math that requirement is this? Did they ever test this number? Like, if I applied for a job like this, I went to uni for 5 years, right? For a master's. I would need 15 years of experience to apply for this job. Oh my god, it's like literally impossible to apply for this job if you're younger than like 40. What? Required high school education or equivalent is required. What do you mean? So you only need a high school education, but if you have a higher education, you also need 3 times of that in working experience. What kind of job listing is this? Preferred a bachelor's degree in a business-related field. And then like 10 years of experience working in that as well. But you only need a high school diploma. What is this job listing, man? Knowledge and experience. Preferred industrial coatings, preferably wood coating sales. Physical requirement, must be able to sit, stand, hear, and see on a constant basis. Depending on what the job is, this can get into really like discriminatory territory real fast. Must be able to walk, write, and type on a frequent basis. So, must be able to walk and be literate? Okay. Must be able to lift and carry up to 50 pounds. Must be able to climb and descend stairs. Must be able to bend, carry, reach, push, and pull on an occasional basis. What do you mean pull on an occasional basis? What is this job position? must be able to communicate verbally and in writing, may work indoors and outdoors as needed, exposure to heat up to 120 degrees and cold to 0 degrees. This entire job listing is just absolutely unhinged. You only need a high school education, but if you have a higher qualification, you also need 3 times that in working experience in the field. So it's like an entry-level position, I guess, for like young people, but it also requires like 20 years of experience if you have more education than that. What is this listing, man? Did they actually math the math before posting this? Answer these questions from the employer. Where do you get your news from? Favorite outlets? Gossip with the ladies at high tea. What is the greatest threat to America right now? Me after 19 beers and half a can of sin. I love this. I love this. Can we just flood BS tests like this with answers like this? What is your ideal work environment? Home office, lights off, slight hangover, looping audio of Tony Soprano's heavy breathing. What interests you about this job? The possibility of ending my unemployment. Yeah, if we could just be actually honest in life, if humans weren't able to lie, this would just be 90% of job interviews. Due to the nature of our business, we occasionally work as early as 6 a.m. to late as 10 p.m. Would this be something you're comfortable with? I would literally work 24 hours, 7 days a week. I mean, if I get paid to sleep, yeah, for sure, I could do that. What is the salary range you are seeking in your next position? $1 a day with a quarterly, I'm proud of you, son, from my direct manager. Ah, yes, indeed. You know what they say. An image says more than 1,000 words. In the same way, a compliment from your boss says more than $1,000. You don't need a pay raise. I gave you a compliment. At a sport. Unironically, that has sort of happened to me in the past, and based on what I know from other friends and stuff, it's like surprisingly common that people are like, oh my god, you're doing so good in your position. They're like, yay, what about a raise? And they're like, what? What is that? Oh, the payment is compliments, great. Well, if I can pay my rent with compliments, then I suppose it's all good. LinkedIn. You appeared in 367 searches this week. Oh, wow! So where is my job? I think also LinkedIn works a lot with just impressions. I mean, a lot of social platforms do, but especially LinkedIn, this is true for job listings as well. Sometimes the counters only count like how many have seen it or how many have clicked the link to like read about it and stuff, not actually how many applicants have actually sent something in. And I imagine this is very similar on LinkedIn, for example. These are like impressions that you showed up in some kind of feed somewhere, but it's not actually 367 people that viewed your profile. I think numbers like this are very purposefully inflated to get people to stay on platforms more, because it seems more hopeful than it actually is. Man, I'm glad I haven't had to use LinkedIn for a while. I should just write like, click, meme reader, experience 5 years. I am really good at reading memes, man. Elite Software Automation Recruitment. That is a long name. Dear Blorp, thank you for applying for a fronted software engineering position within Elite Software Automation. Your job application for the fronted software engineer position has been declined due to your failed score on the automated online test, as you've scored below the pass score. Oh, so no one ever looked at the CV or anything. It's just an automated test and they're like, declined. Oh, that's great. That feels good, man. There's not even people on the receiving end of it. Can you imagine when AI becomes a little bit more advanced? The entire recruiting process is just going to be insufferable AI bots. It's going to be when I try to talk to YouTube support, but for job applications. God damn. We rejected an applicant for being motivated by money, which I've always found to be a weird thing. Like, the entire company and the shares and everything is motivated by money. Why is it so wrong that employees are motivated by money? Anyway, let's keep reading, shall we? My team is understaffed, and we managed to get approval for a job opening. The job is difficult to fill. It requires decent wit, but is boring and repetitive as frick. Too boring for smart people, but too difficult for dumb people, bluntly said. We're basically looking for a smart person who's willing to put up with a lot of poo. And those are difficult to come by if you don't pay them frick you money. But we found one. An expat graduate who wants to get a residence permit. He even had a few years of relevant experience, telling about his humble background, aka I will send money home, and how he's raised to work hard and help family. I nearly wetted myself. It was our unicorn of shite shoveling. I praised him to heaven with my manager. But the two other co-workers who were on the interview panel as well wanted somebody who is intrinsically motivated instead of just for the money. So the fact that he was like, I'm a really hard worker and part of my motivation is to literally send money home to my family is a bad thing? Oh my god! My recruiter is crying. I am crying. I bet my dream applicant is too. Oh, universe, why? Oh my god, it's so painful to read. Oh my god. I wonder if that would work in an interview. If you're like, I'm looking for a company that's intrinsically motivated instead of motivated for the money. You think that would fly? Probably not. Why would you turn down this candidate? I feel the frustration through the screen. This is so painful, man. This is so painful for everyone. And you know that they're gonna be stuck for another 2 months trying to find someone for the position and be overworked in the meantime. This is so stupid. Job descriptions be like, are you looking for an exciting, fast-paced, high-volume, and challenging work environment? What? No? This is like the entirety of my LinkedIn feed, I swear to God. I mean, I'm not really on LinkedIn anymore, thankfully, but like all of it is like the ready for new challenges. It's okay to say that you got a better offer. It's okay, fam, man. Imagine what the world would look like if we were all just like blatantly honest. It would be much more fun. Hiring! We're hiring right now! Apply! Hiring! We're hiring! Hi, I'm here to apply to... Please apply! We're hiring immediately! Please apply! We'll hire anyone that applies! Alright, fine, I'll apply. Thank you. Applies to job. Yeah, you don't meet our requirements, so we decided to look for other workers instead. You are not hired. Very nice comic, but add cosmic perks. That is beautiful. That is really what it feels like, isn't it? Absolutely astounding. Job market, wholesome vibes only.
It sounds like this is going to work out, and you will be an ideal candidate. The manager is very busy the rest of the week, but has made himself fully available today. What time can you meet with him today?
I will have to see. Do you have the address to your location so that way I can determine the ETA?
I am not your mother, and it is not my job to do everything for you. Please look up the address on your own.
Excuse me? Well, find someone else. Thank you. Recruiter is an idiot. Interview location isn't always the same as the advertised workplace location. Oh my god, is this just some weird power trip or something? That is so wild. I've been to plenty of interviews where the interview place is like at some office hotel or something like that. You know, just getting a Google Calendar invite with time and place seems pretty standard. No? It takes you less time to just write out the address than it takes you to go on this like tangent about not being someone's mom. What? I want to do an internship. Do you have experience? I want to gain experience in the internship. Anyway, here's your rejection. Woo! Yes, indeed, at least it's consistent, baby. Oh, hell yeah.
Once a man hits 25, nobody cares about his potential anymore. He either has results to show or he doesn't.
Oh my god, this is fascinating. You know all those posts you see online where it's like,
women above the age of 25 are all dust hags, are good for nothing, and they're all shriveled up.
This is the equivalent, but for dudes. If you're not a millionaire by the age of 25, your potential is already spent and there's nothing more for you to offer the world. Fam, I was still in uni when I was 25. What do you mean? I mean, aside from just being generally completely unhinged, I feel like people like this don't understand age numbers. You know, it's so wild to me. It's like, if you're over 20, you're so old. What? I wonder how old the person posting this is. That'll be interesting to know. I don't know how many. We decided to move forward with other candidates. I got left in me. Hopefully you at least get some, feedback about it. But in my experience, that is and sometimes the feedback isn't particularly valuable either. I remember I had a couple of jobs like that back in the day when I was job hunting after uni. And I was declined from a couple of job positions that I thought were going really well. But when I asked, okay, what can I do better for next time? The answers were always so weirdly vague that I just kind of assumed they hired someone internally or the boss's son or something like that, and I just dropped it and moved on to the next thing, because the feedback isn't always valuable, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you find a unicorn when they actually let you know what is actually going on, which is beautiful. If people don't list metrics on their resume, it's because their jobs never quantify their work to gauge their performance. Wait, this is something that people do? Oh my god, I have never written a metric on my resume. What, that's a thing? I rejected someone for wearing a mask, SpaceX. I conduct technical interviews for a pre-IPO fintech in SF. Some dude came in wearing a mask. I immediately lost interest, threw him an LC hard, and switched tabs to submit strong reject feedback and resume my work while he flailed around hopelessly. To all interns and new grads interviewing, stop wearing a fucking mask. If you're incapable of thinking for yourself, you can be damn sure you'll fail at any fast-paced company. Oh yes, at this fast-paced company, we can't wear masks. We also don't wash our hands, because there's no time to wash your hands when you're on the alpha's grindset, baby! This person is an absolute buffoon for a few reasons. Number one is that declining someone for this reason is probably illegal, especially considering that a lot of people wear masks and that sort of thing because they might be immunocompromised. Declining someone specifically for that reason sounds like it could be a very nasty lawsuit on your hands. Number two, you also posted this publicly. It's like on the same level as those TikTok kids that post themselves committing crime and calling it pranks. Ooh, what better thing than doing crime? Film it and post it online, baby. Oh, hell yeah. Fast-paced company, fast-paced straight to jail. Received a call, politely declined as I took another offer. Then this happened. Hey there, sorry I missed your call. Thank you for getting back to me, but I have taken another opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, it's Blorp calling from... You applied for a role? I called you earlier to see if you were still interested in it. That's fine, but a bit of advice, next time have the courtesy to call and cancel the interview. Just show the character of a person. Good luck to you.
Wow, with a lecture like that, I am glad to never work for you. No interview was ever arranged.
We confirmed on the phone 1:30 this Thursday at Blorp. You even asked me how to get there.
Your poor attitude and bad management says a lot more about your character than my own. Lol, no I didn't. That wasn't me. Check your notes.
Actually you're right. Your numbers are very similar. Apologies.
Thanks for the lecture. Aim at the incorrect person. Greatly appreciated. I trust you don't make the same kind of mistakes with your staff. Oh my god. And you know what's so bad about this thing? That is kind of like if you read between the lines. Is that this recruiter, unless they were confronted about this, would legit have cancelled the interview or not show up to it for a legitimate candidate that they had already booked an interview with. So they almost blew the opportunity of someone else and also lectured the wrong person without double checking. Oh no, man, that is so bad. I found this post about how to get a job at this particular workplace, and I figured we would read through it together so we can learn something about how to land more offers. Accepted offer, positive experience, and easy interview. Sounds like just swooping through the door, doesn't it? My god. Application. I applied through an employee referral. The process took 1 day. I interviewed at Blorp. That is absolutely amazing. An interview process for 1 single day. Usually this can take weeks. That is beautiful. Interview. The interview process was very simple. This is so nice. No more of those like super big tests or, you know, a freaking home exam that takes you 2 days. My dad knew this vice CEO of the company. So therefore my interview process was fairly basic and simple. Yeah, I can imagine. The interview was very chilled and relaxed, and I didn't feel any pressure at all because I knew I was going to get the job. Interview questions. How is your father? Fucking damn it. Hey everyone, today I'm gonna teach you how to be a millionaire by the age of 20. Wake up at 5 a.m. and do yoga. Get $20 million inheritance from your rich grandpa. Meditate and make a power smoothie. Follow me for more economy tips. This post does read a bit like satire, gonna be honest, but I have seen enough of these posts online that are not satire that it just plays in so nicely, doesn't it? Ah, the world is a wonderful place. This is embarrassing, but let me know if it sounds interesting. Hey Blorp, you might be wondering why the heck you are getting this email. It's because you recently applied to a role at Blorp that we ended up closing as we want to focus on more senior hires. I totally apologize for wasting your time, and that is why I want to make it up to you at least a little. Are you interested in making $40 per day doing nothing but sitting on the couch? This sounds like a scam. It's like one of those ads you get like, this is how you make $500 a day from home. You see, my fiancé and I are going away for our first time in over 2 years. We are planning to have a ton of fun, but we got a text at the very last second with horrific news. Hey Blorp, I can't be there this weekend. Any other weekend I can do it though. This is leaving me clenching my fist and my left eye is slightly twitching. I see he's writing it quirky to like lighten the mood. No dog sitter, no vacation, no. No, are you reaching out to like hires you dumped to dog sit? Oh my god, I've never heard of something like this happen in my life.
Oh no.
I know, there are services like Rover, but most sitters are already booked this weekend, leaving Ryder and Izzy without a babysitter. The dogs are charming. Izzy, my little Aussie, is anxious and loud in a cute way. In a cute way. Yeah, she bites your ankles. In a cute way. It takes a day for her to warm up to you, but she is the biggest lover once she trusts you. Okay, it takes a day, but you're gonna watch them over a weekend, so half the time they're gonna be insufferable. That sounds nice. She barks for pets if Ryder is getting them. The only negative is she is territorial, which means if she tries to fight dogs if there's food around. Dogs come into our house, or even dogs enter a little yard. Ryder is a gentleman and a lover. He licks you, cuddles, and sticks to your side. Dear Mr. Boss, I applied for a position at your office 1 month ago. Why are you sending me emails rambling about your dog's emotional state? The typical day with the dogs goes something like this, blah, blah, blah. So are you interested? If so, please text me as soon as possible. But I wonder if they're sending this to everyone. Did they have like 50 applicants and then they just close the position and be like, oh no, I have to find a dog sitter. Do I have any email list to spam that out to? I know, I have these 50 people that we didn't give this position because we closed it and just wasted their time. They'll probably be down to helping us out for $40 a day. That's great. Wow. For this sort of stuff, I imagine you would ask, I don't know, your teenage niece or something like that to babysit the dogs for a bit of extra cash during a weekend. It probably isn't something that you send out to job applicants for an office position that you declined and are probably busy looking for work. I'm gonna be honest, this is wild. I've never seen anything like this. Candidate turns up and is told interview is cancelled. Then informed that cancellation was a test which she failed. You left the office when we told you to leave. This means you're not really a go-getter and you give up too easily. Not a fit for our grindset company. Man, I spat all over my keyboard while doing that voice piece. I think it's pretty accurate to like the attitude of this company. Leigh arrived on time for her job interview at a lawyer's office in Bristol. But after 20 minutes, it has been cancelled, and she was asked to come back the next day. She left upset, only to receive a message later saying the cancellation had actually been a test, which she had failed. She did not get the job. What was the test? What was she supposed to do, though? If someone tells me, like, oh, we had a meeting today, sorry, it's cancelled, come back tomorrow. I probably wouldn't come back tomorrow, but I certainly wouldn't stick around because it's cancelled. What else? Should I just sit around and, like, just, no, I'm not gonna leave. Like, what? You move on with your life. How is this a test? What is the correct answer supposed to be? Trespassing? Dear God, man. She says the inexperience was totally bizarre, and that it spurred her to start her own business, where she makes sure to stick to a much more straightforward hiring style. That's a pretty wholesome conclusion. I hope she does well with her business. That's a really good motivator. My previous employers were absolute peepees, so I'm gonna make my own business and not be a peepee to my employees. That's good. Stick it to him. Ageism also had a bizarre experience when she applied for a student ambassador job for minimum wage at a university. During a group interview, everyone was asked to crawl around on their hands and knees and moo like a cow. What? We did that for about 3 to 4 minutes, she recalls. This is some kind of hazing stuff. When I was like a student and stuff, and we did hazing things, we did never do things that were this heckin' demeaning. You don't do that if you're a decent person. This is just some sort of toxic power play. Oh, you're desperate for a job? Well, crawl around and moo for me if you really want this job. And after that, polish my shoes and kiss my feet. Is that where this is going? Wow, what a great work environment. At the time, I was quite annoyed. It was highly inappropriate. Wouldn't it be amazing if this was also a test? It's like, oh my god, if you actually did what we said and crawled around on the floor for this job interview, it means that you would be an enabler of toxic culture instead of saying, no, so sorry, we can't hire you. We made you do this silly thing and embarrassed you in front of all these people, and we also not giving you the job because we're good people like that. But there was a bit of peer pressure because everyone else was doing it. This is absolutely insane. I'm picturing a room full of people during a group interview, and everyone is crawling around on the floor, and then you have like a couple of interviewees just cackling, going on power trips, like, now, crawl around on the floor like piggies. Oink for us if you want this job. Oink for us. What kind of supervillain bullshit is this? Not even Dr. Evil did this to his henchmen. What the fuck, man? The interviewers said they were trying to see if the candidates were fun. Though Miss Fu suspects that maybe someone just had a bit of a power trip. Yeah, I also think it's a power trip, and I think you should probably email the boss about this, because sometimes people do this without it actually being transparent, like up the chain. With a bit of luck, that is what's happening, and the recruiters will actually get in trouble for doing this, because this is absolutely wild, man.
So, how many years do you think you got left?
What do you mean, to live? Julie from Missouri in the US says she learned that interviewers can sometimes be really isolated from what it's like to be an interviewee. no shit. Crawl around and oink for me. This was her takeaway from a video interview she did in 2022 to be part-time copywriter. At first, she felt it was going well. I was ticking all the boxes, she said. But towards the end, the interviewer asked, "So how many years do you think you got left in you?" "I'm in my early 60s, Julie says. "I'm not going to retire for quite a while." I don't think these sort of questions are legal, man. It's like when you ask someone if they're planning to get preggo or whatever. That's bad. I am stunned. Just had a recruiter inform me that I'm supposedly too old for a software developer role. He had the audacity to say, "Your age makes people question why you haven't moved up to CTO or something. I can't pitch you to clients." Oh my god, is this the same sort of attitude that LinkedIn lady? It's like, oh my god, everything men haven't achieved by the age of 25, they will never achieve. Like, because they're all used up and they're potentially spent. This is the same thing, but just at a higher age. People are nuts, man. Can you believe it? A young whippersnapper in their 20s has the nerve to condense my 37 years of experience into such a dismissive statement. I am 58 and never considered myself old. Guess it's time to consider dyeing the hair, huh? LOL. That is absolutely wild. People in the recruiting industry just lose their minds sometimes, don't they? That is bonkers. My friend got caught lying on his resume. So I was chatting to a friend the other day who does contract jobs in tech and earns megabucks. And also, as a software dev myself, I was wondering how he was continually landing all these high-profile jobs. And this is what he told me. He just buffs out his resume to give himself more years of experience doing cooler things and throws in a fancy company or two. He's not a bad programmer in the first place, but he is cautious to not overstep his ability, and so he picks jobs where they pay for quality and not complexity. Therefore, he can always get the stuff done within his scope. And he has the best work-life balance I have ever seen. Naturally, I asked him if he has been caught, and he said he was in the interview phase once or twice. Never during a contract. And when he has been caught, it doesn't matter because someone else hires him in a heartbeat. Also, you guessed it, his references are fake, and he said if he ever got fired, he would just lie it out of his resume. So now he just earns a lot of money, has a lot of time off between contracts, and when he feels like something new, he just sends out a few applications and that's it. And I must admit, I am a bit jealous. I let my friends use my company to fill holes in their work history and provide good references based on projects that I know they can do. Lol. That comment is so wholesome. That is so sweet. Like, I know my friend could do this, right? It's not like you're tricking people into like, oh, this is going to be an open heart surgeon doctor and you lie about your friend being able to do open heart surgery. It's like, no, you just fill in those like 3-month gap in the resume that are like ridiculously overhyped anyway and doesn't actually matter for what you're capable of doing, and just be like, yeah, they did a project at my company for those 3 months within like their expertise anyway, so it's something you know that they could do. That is wholesome. That is wholesome. That's just like padding the BS that people have to jump through when they're looking for jobs. That is sweet. Real buddies. After my 5th interview, I'm convinced they're just fricking with me at this point. Hi, Blorp. Would you have the capacity to do a small 2-week project in the coming weeks? For free, I guess? Oh, isn't that beautiful? We would like to assess your ability to rapidly pick up things beyond your knowledge and use new tools quickly. Best. Is the project paid? You might ask. Well, it's paid in something much more valuable than money. It's paid in experience. Sparkles. So, I came across your resume. I do apologize. Does that mean they liked the resume? I hope so. Like, I'll take it, I guess. Landscape position. Hello! I have a note that we did an interview in early October. Can you remind me if you showed up for the interview? Thanks! Just scroll through your calendar or whatever. What? Hi, Blorb. Thank you for your interest in the seasonal sales associate position at Blorb. We have reviewed your application and unfortunately, you are not the right fit for the position at this time. I am sorry for the disappointing news. Best of luck in your job search. Sincerely, Dan. Dan, I've been working here for a month. I think this just shows how out of touch the recruiting process is with the rest of the company. Or it's amazing, declining people that have already worked there for months. Ah, Dan, you go. Your resume, get Cecil Woods. Interview assistant, sorry, we needed someone who knows AWS. And you also can't learn anything during a new job, right? You have to know everything from before and also 55,000 years of experience. A guy dressed himself as delivery man to hand deliver his resume disguised as a box of donuts. Most resumes end up in trash. Mine in your belly. Okay, this is kind of cute, but this feels like it's more of, I don't know, a talent show thing or like a TikTok spectacle. More than an actual serious way to apply for interviews. Like, I'm not crapping on the guy at all. Like it's a very smart thing to do. But the fact that the market has gotten to that point where you have to make these like showman yippo things, like viral posts or whatever, to like have a chance at a job interview is absolutely wild. Like, how does this make you more qualified or whatever? It's weird to me. It's really weird. The company literally picked the wrong candidate. The recruiter wanted to do a debrief with me, so I said, sure, why not? Let's see what BS they have for me. They started saying, the other candidate has this. And I was like, yeah, I have that too, and told the interviewers about this. And then they went on and said, well, it would also be a combination of X and Y, and they have specific experience in this area. And again, I said, yes, that's me. I told them about these things. The recruiter got flustered and said, But you don't have experience in this area. I stopped them and said, are you sure you turned down the right person? Silence. Everything they said matched up with what I said during my interviews, so I think they messed up. The recruiter just stayed silent and finally said, so I guess that's it then. Yes, click. And they get so embarrassed that they just double down. How are they gonna explain this to the boss or anyone else who's part of the process? They accidentally turned down the wrong person. They must have mixed up the numbers and the resumes. So they called up the wrong person, but kept going and didn't realize it was the wrong person. This is so embarrassing, man. This is so embarrassing. And then you're stuck there with the only candidate left, the one you intend to not hire, the one that didn't have the expertise. Oh, this is so silly. This is so silly. How is this person allowed to be a recruiter, man? The job application portal won't let me submit my resume because it thinks the word black is an appropriate word. For some context, my resume has the word carbon black in it, which is EDR software. Don't you know that this software is a slur? Sorry, you cannot do it. Try carbon African American law. Oh my god, I felt this. This is what it feels like when you try to get stuff through the YouTube review system and they don't even tell you what gets it stuck in review. It's like, hey, this video might be against a guideline. Read through this 20 guidelines to try to figure out which one. Oh my god, it's like that. It's like when really vague systems just goes absolutely nuts. Recently, I filled a position that attracted 3,300 applicants. 1,600 wasn't even located in any of the listed hiring locations. 700 applicants required visa support, which we couldn't provide. 760 of those applicants didn't showcase the basic skills or experience we needed for the role. 124 resumes were shortlisted for the hiring manager to review. 43 candidates were selecting for recruiter screens, that's only 1.28% of applicants. 21% passed the screening and had an opportunity to meet with a hiring manager. We invited 11 of them to complete a take-home evaluation. 9 candidates nailed it, 6 candidates completed the entire interview loop, and we extended the offer to 1 applicant. Oh my god, what a process. I mean, I'm not sure how the process would have been better, but I suppose one takeaway that is a bit wholesome is don't be scared about big applicant numbers, because sometimes it can just mean kinda spam. It's just people send applicants to everything literally when they're not even in the location the job is listed. So I suppose that's sort of a wholesome takeaway. That's the downside of having like the online thing. Everything is super accessible, but it also means that spamming things becomes way more likely. So slight wholesome takeaway, I suppose. One of the applicants that submitted a resume for my open position was just a Word doc with his name spelled vertically. Legit looked like Fred. And that was literally the only thing on it. Lol. Based resume, Fred. Switching jobs every 1 to 3 years is the fastest way to increase your salary, especially early in your career. Why? Because hiring budgets are higher than raise or retention budgets. This is actually a tip we got from like alumni when we were graduating uni back in the day. At least this is true for the first few times. Like if you switch jobs every 2 months, eventually people are going to be like, why are you switching jobs every 2 months? And they're not going to believe that you're actually interested in staying. But if you switch every 1 to 3 years for the first 5 years or so, you will see much more steep increases, because the increases for switching positions is usually much higher than just a standard salary increase when you're staying at the same position. It's kind of a weird thing.
Rovi, chatbot, what is your first name?
Firstly, do you know if there is an available salary range?
Seems like you're trying to learn more about working here. Can you please ask the question in another way?
Salary range.
Got it, thanks. What's your last name? Would you like to continue with your application form?
No, stop.
What would you like to do next? Hi, salary! Are you interested in this job?
Okay, there is this fine line with what you can actually automate and make things easier and more efficient for everyone, and there's the stuff you can't automate because it just turns into a pain for everyone and everyone hates it.
This is definitely in category number 2. Oh my god!
Okay, I'm calling it. You know how we're talking about like the AI revolution and the apocalypse and that sort of stuff a la Terminator style? I don't think we're gonna have Terminators. It won't be that cool. What is gonna happen is all recruiters are gonna be replaced by AI bots, and they're not gonna hire anyone ever, and the whole freaking economy collapses and the world blows up. That is my new conspiracy. That is how the world is gonna end. Thank you for following me. Come back to my next TED Talk or whatever.
CEO, am I insensitive to the world if I think people should pay a small fee, $20, to apply for a job, as a means to prevent an overwhelming quantity of underqualified or mismatched submissions?
So you have to pay money to try to get a job now.
Ah!
Don't get me wrong, I have seen a couple of inboxes from like recruiting contacts and that sort of thing, and they can definitely be spammed with like stuff that obviously isn't fitting for the place. People that barely read the job interview and just sent like whatever in, you know. But it's usually pretty easy to filter through that stuff. Having a fee for people to apply to jobs is wild, because this is something that takes time from both of you. If you're looking for a position, it's going to be time consuming to go through resumes and interview and that kind of stuff, and it's also going to be time consuming for candidates to like write their resumes and go to interviews and answer questions and that kind of stuff. That is just how it goes. This is part of like the cost of looking for and hiring, right? This why would one party pay a fee to the other? Come on. Lost an amazing employee for no good reason. Employee came to me to talk about their pay. Wanted a raise to match the current going rate offered for that position in the area. I told them to put it on paper and I will happily sign it and turn it into the higher-ups. I get the request, I sign it, turn it in, it gets denied. About a month later, that employee turns in his 2-week notice. Got a better paying job somewhere else. Now we're posting to replace that position, and it's posted at the going rate the ex-employee asked for. We lost a perfectly good, in fact amazing employee. Why are companies like this? This is a phenomenon that I see way too often, and I'm surprised it still exists, right? If you follow some basic logic about Darwinism for companies, right, you would imagine companies that do this would be less able to compete because they lose good employees and they spend more money bringing someone else up to speed, right? At the same salary anyways, you know, you just lose time and money, right? But maybe it's that everyone does it, so it's not a question of competition because everyone is doing this stupid thing all the time. I don't know. It just boggles the mind because it feels like it doesn't follow the logic, right? It's so weird to me. It's so weird.
Hello, I'm here for the job interview.
Great, and do you have experience?
Yes, this is my 20th interview. Crying dog.
I am very experienced in job interviews. I can be your new recruiter. I have been on so many job interviews, baby. Oh my god, maybe that's the twist. Maybe that's the new life hack.
We are offering a competitive salary.
Be honest.
I am being honest.
No. How much are you paying?
Minimum wage.
Thank you. I love this clip that has been memed so beautifully. It's such a beautiful clip.
It says here you took Christmas Eve off in 1984. Have you always been a lazy, unmotivated bastard?
I just wanted to see Santa Claus, man. And also I was like 4 years old. Also, kindly provide the explanation for the gap found in your employment history for the below-mentioned duration from 2017 to 2019. Gap in my employment history. In 2017, I was 14! Oh, you weren't on the Sigma grind set when you were 14 years old? You were going to school or whatever? Sounds like a bullshit excuse for a lazy bastard. Hi there. We're looking for 10 plus years of experience as React engineer. Considering React emerged as a technology about 10 years ago, I think you'll be hard-pressed to find someone with more than 10 years of experience. What is your experience with React.js? I don't have 10 years of experience, which probably is not a good fit. I would suggest reaching out to the founders of React over at Meta for a better fit, since I think the devs who created it still work there. Oh my god, when the recruiting aspect is completely out of touch of the actual position. That is great. Reminds me of the time the creator of Fast API found a job posting which required 4 years of Fast API, even though it was around for less than 2 years at the time. Oh my god, I remember this tweet. Wait a second, let me find it. I saw a job post the other day. It required 4+ years of experience of Fast API. I couldn't apply as I only have 1.5 years of experience since I created that thing. Maybe it's time to reevaluate that years of experience equals skill level. That is so incredibly embarrassing. Oh my god, can you imagine when the founder of a technology comes to your job listing and be like, hey, I invented this thing that you're asking for experience in, and I literally can't apply to the job listing because it hasn't existed that long. Oh.
Alright, little Mr. Candidate, if you feel you're a good fit for this company, we have a personality test for you. Yes, indeed, those personality tests that everyone loves. Let's get into it, shall we, baby? First question, I am more like a smiling man or working with a gearbox? Which personality are you? Too late. Next question, I am more like bread or more like folders with papers in them? What do you think you are? Answer below. I am more like thinking man or IKEA bookshelf. Which one are you? This is very important for the company culture. I am more like judge hammer or shaking hand. This is also important. This is important for the synergy of our team. I am more like, yes, I did it, or more like, I am looking at this. Oh, is this more like, I am happy or detail-oriented? I don't freaking, but it's synergy. I am more like red line in the street or smiling woman. Which one do you identify with? What? These questions are unhinged? Wrong answer. Next question. I am more like, yes, computer or computer. Which one are you? I am more like monkey bars or calculator piggy bank. The two genders, monkey bars or piggy banks. I am more like taking notes in a book or waving. What the f***? Anyway, next question. Don't lose focus, dear person. The role requires a native level of English, meaning no accent. Do you have a native English accent when speaking? Okay. First off, this is like a discrimination lawsuit waiting to happen. Secondly, everyone has an accent. Are you kidding me? What do you mean a native accent? I can understand, okay? This wouldn't fall under discrimination category if you, for example, hiring for a position in the movie, right? Like, oh, we're hiring a British character. They have to specifically be able to do a British accent, right? Then it applies for the position. That wouldn't count as discrimination. But if it's just a general office role and you're like, we have to have a specific accent for this when it's not actually a requirement, then it's just discrimination. And it's also a stupid question. What do you mean native English accent? What? Imagine being headhunted for a role by a recruiter. They message you out of the blue. You weren't looking, but thought you would have a chat. You liked what the recruiter had to say about the role, so you thought you would go to the interview to find out more. Now imagine being asked by an interviewer, so why do you want to work here? Or why should we hire you? Or why are you looking to leave your current role? Madness, isn't it? But happens way more than it should do. Certain interview questions should just be banned. I've had this happen a couple of times when it comes to like agencies and stuff that want to fish you up when you work with YouTube. And they're like, oh, we found your channel and we like you. We'd like to offer you something. You're like, sure, why not? Let's see what they have to say. And surprisingly often it's stuff like this. Why do you think you should be in this thing? You're the one who said I should be. You're here to sell it to me. What? Well, laddies, lasses, and lassos, I do hope you enjoyed this journey through recruiting hell as much as I enjoyed having you here, you wonderful, beautiful being. I wish you the best of luck with everything. Have an amazing rest of your day because you do deserve it, and I will see you in the very next video. Take care.